We are being thankful today, and this is Can We Chat?
This podcast has been made possible by our sponsor, Carlson Mechanical, where your imagination comes to reality.
What's going on? My name is Paul G., Chief Safety Officer for the IDPA. This channel will help you clarify IDPA rules, shooting techniques, and inform you of the newest gear and what's going on in the shooting community. If you're new here, consider subscribing. Please welcome my dear friend and fellow teammate, Daniel Bolt. Well, thank you very much. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
This is the first time.
It is.
We tried to do this in Vegas, but that went technically crazy on us.
Yes.
Well, thanks for coming out here. I noticed that you actually ride a Harley.
I do. Yeah, it was my wife's stepdad's bike.
Wow,
that
that thing is beautiful.
Yeah, we bought it to keep it in the family.
It's a beast. 1,300.
Yes, 884 pounds, I believe, is what they claim. Yeah.
So it's strange that a lot of the shooters that we get to shoot with, you have no idea what they do in the off time. And Daniel, I didn't know you actually had a Harley. So how often do you ride the thing?
I usually ride it every day to work. Wow. So it's not a far commute, but I sure get home a lot faster.
How's it? How's it feel? I mean, it's just a lot of power underneath between your legs.
Yeah, that's for sure. It doesn't ride like its weight. It rides most people. It surprises most people when they get on board.
Right. Once it starts to move, it starts to feel very agile. I'm sure.
Yes, and it's more comfortable. It's like a lazy boy with wheels.
Oh man. I mean, do you have to worry about falling asleep when you ride?
No, not that comfortable.
Okay.
Not that comfortable. Yeah.
Well, we got together. Thank you very much for taking the time. I know everybody's out there celebrating Thanksgiving with their family and folks and so forth. We got together. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was great.
Yeah. Big gathering of the family and so forth?
Not real big. We had about 4 people over with us, but we did a nice ham leg. We did we started with a pork leg, brined it, and made a nice ham.
So you made this thing from scratch?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. What, you have a recipe that...
I'll have to plug it. It's amazingribs.com is
Okay.
where I go to. It's a guy named Meathead Goldwyn. Pretty sure that's not his real name. I'm pretty sure it's a nickname.
I'm sure.
Unless mom just didn't like him. Yeah, I followed that recipe to a T, and there are a lot of good recipes on there as well. It took about 22 days total.
22 days?
Yes.
Oh, so you cured the thing?
Yes. It started out as a whole pork leg.
Oh, man.
So you got to take the skin off.
Right.
You got to make the brine. You got to put it in the brine, and you got to have a spot in the fridge for a 5-gallon bucket.
And maintain a certain temperature,
Yes,
of course.
definitely.
So you won't, nobody gets sick and so forth, right? So
Yes.
how did it come out?
Amazing.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I got some video for you.
You've done brining before?
Yes. This is the 3rd time I've done a ham.
He does other things too. Brisket is
yeah.
one of your claim to fame.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So we deep fried a turkey. A dear friend of ours said, "Hey, we need extra turkey. So is there a way that you can deep fry one?" I'm like, "Deep fry one? Oh my gosh." That means I have to go to Costco and buy something, the fryer, right?
Right.
So, and if you don't be careful, right, you can have fire issues, right? So you got to be really, really careful. So, I brined 24, let it sit out and dry for 24, and then I had no problems sinking it in. And 42 minutes later, we're all set in 14-pound turkey.
Wow, that's amazing.
That turned out pretty good too. I'm dying to see some video on your ham.
Okay.
So let's stay tuned for this. Let's take a look. Wow, that looks very rich.
Yes, it is. You can't eat a whole lot of it, amazingly.
So the outside was it almost looked like caramel.
There's a glaze on it.
Okay.
It's got a little bit of apricot preserves in it, along with some
yeah.
spices and stuff like that. It turns into a really nice sugary glaze.
Oh man, that looks really, really good.
Yes,
I-
it's very good.
So, aside from the ham, what was your favorite dish that you ate for the dinner?
Aside from the ham, I would have to say the coleslaw.
Which is from scratch as well.
It is.
Yeah. How'd you make that?
It's called Wonderful Waldorf Slaw. It's a twist on that Waldorf apple salad.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
got cabbage, jalapenos, rice wine vinegar, a bunch of spices, some sugar in the dressing. It just makes a nice coleslaw without mayo.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a nice brighter finished coleslaw that
A
goes
little
well
healthier
with pork.
for you, absolutely.
Yes.
Oh, that sounds really, really good. So, we have quite a few of our dear friends that were having some health issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, well, Megan's dad for one.
Yes.
Have you heard anything from that? I heard he's still recovering. Right,
He is.
We have Randy Ammons. He's up and walking around. I heard, assisted, of course.
Right.
So he's doing his rehab, and then Terry Beams just got over a trifecta with his heart. And
Wow.
all at one time. Right. So
Yes.
so our prayers. And Tony, his wife is dealing with some issues as well. So please include them in your prayers. Make sure
Yes.
that they have a speedy recovery. We hope for them to get back on their feet fairly quickly. So we don't have
Absolutely.
to worry about that stuff. But we had a local match that we got to participate in. I noticed that. Because of all the health issues, there's not a lot of guys out there, but there are a few regulars, which definitely would be you. So you're just like a little kid out there. Why is that?
It's just so much fun. It's fun to be able to take your skill of shooting static in one position and move it, which completely changes your game.
Yeah.
And it just brings back a joy to shooting.
Yeah, IDPA is not just standing around shooting one stationary target. It's definitely a lot of moving, in which our match was quite a bit of a lot of stuff, right?
Yes.
It had long runs, side to sides. We had lots of moving targets as
Yes.
well. We had two of them. Steel. We had everything.
Yes.
So
Yep. It was great.
What was your favorite stage?
It's funny that you mentioned the movement. 4 and 5 were probably my favorites, and they used to be not my favorites because one was a swinger and then one was a bobber.
Right.
And those take a lot of time to get used to, in my opinion.
So 4 started out with an empty gun, right?
Yes.
You had to load it, and
Yep.
then you had to shoot strong hand, right? Three targets,
Yes.
right? As you're trying to move backwards, right?
Correct.
If you wanted to. So, but what a mess that was.
It was good. It was good. It's well, I shouldn't talk because I had a procedural later on for.
I noticed
else,
that.
But, yeah.
I noticed you had one. What was the procedural for?
You had to keep one foot on the stick for a Mozambique, and then a 2 shots on paper around the black barrels. And I was moving after the Mozambique and didn't have a foot on the stick. I don't know which was quicker, moving and shooting it, and taking the 3, or standing with a foot on the stick and not getting the 3.
Well, I mean, you had it was a stacked barrels in front of you,
Yes.
right? And so you had to go around, shoot,
Yes.
a target on the left, and then on the right. You shot the one on the.
I went right first.
Okay,
Mozambique
right,
right,
left.
and then left, but I was moving when I shot the left one, and I didn't have the foot on the stick anymore.
When you're moving, did you go to the right arrays or to the
I went to the left.
to the left side?
It made
Okay.
more sense round count wise.
Because when you were reloading stuff coming back around,
it's easier for me
I
to
see.
move to my right.
I see.
right-handed.
So you're shooting SSP.
Yes.
And you're a sharpshooter
Yes.
in SSP, which you actually moved up, right?
Yeah, that was a match bump from the
Las
Western.
Vegas, right?
It was actually the Western
Okay.
2 years ago.
Which
Yeah.
you were a winner there as well.
Yes.
You've been winning a lot.
I don't know about a lot. I've placed twice, so we missed the Western last year, but yeah, we're getting there.
So the very first time I saw you shoot, I mean, it was still impressive. And now you look at you're all grown up.
No, thank you.
So stage 4 was strong hand. So left, lots of arrays. So there was the fastest. You actually had the best stage that you had was actually the swingers,
Yes,
right? So you had a non-threat that was swinging, right?
in front of 3 papers. Yes,
Which we were trying to figure out the timing on that. And every time I turned around, I mean, it was tough because it was a fault line and you had to shoot right to left. And then you had this dual non-threat that was moving around.
Correct.
And that caused some issues for quite a few of the competitors, right? So, but what'd you think about that?
I'm starting to like the swingers. One, it makes me slow down and be a more patient shooter. And when I slow down and I'm more patient, I tend to be faster. So sometimes the swingers, everyone has to deal with it. So if you get that into your head and you slow yourself down,
Right.
generally I'm a little bit quicker.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's very difficult not to worry about what everybody else is doing, right?
Correct.
But you know that everybody else has to shoot it as well, so you might as well just do your best and just go with it, right?
Yep, that's it.
But so 8 was I think it caused some issues for everybody.
It did.
And I think it was because it's just the first stage.
And it's completely different than almost anything else you do.
Right. So this one was a shoot 2, reload, shoot 2, reload, shoot 2.
Yes, with only 2 in each magazine. Yeah.
What kind of sorcery is that?
Thanks.
To me, that I don't think that was a warm up. Technically for me,
It didn't feel like it.
No.
Yeah.
So pop ups, you did very well. So we had all kinds of stuff.
I didn't go 2 to the body and 1 to the head like Chris, but I think all 4 of my shots were on the paper at least.
Okay. So you, on
On the bobber.
the bobber.
Chris actually did 2 to the body, 1 to the head.
Because it was just moving
Yeah.
straight up and down, right? So, I was just trying to put 2 on the paper as fast as I could, but then you had the rest of the stage you have to deal with, so, which is crazy. Tell us about the gun that you're shooting.
It's a Glock 17 Gen 3. Very basic stuff done to it. It's got a new Wilson Combat stainless barrel in it. A little bit of work by Anthony Vega to do some work with the springs in order to shoot the ammo that we're shooting.
Yeah. So it's 15 rounds for SSP.
Correct.
So what is your stage strategy when you attack a stage, since you have 15 rounds?
It completely depends on the stage. I try to, if there's movement, which there usually is, I'll try to go a direction where the round count makes sense and get a reload on the run, allowing the magazine to drop rather than worry about attack reload into a pocket. I'm obviously faster letting the mag drop and then putting a new mag in, and hopefully still have 1 in the chamber so you don't even have to work the slide.
So 15 rounds will put you toward the last target.
Almost to the end every time.
Yeah,
because
and then you have
the
to
stages
deal
are
with
usually
that.
17, 18.
So because I noticed that you always come up on a reload toward the last couple of the targets, and
Yes.
I was just wondering if there was a better way of doing that other than attack reload in the middle, right?
Sometimes there is. Sometimes you can put 3 on each target
Yeah.
if the numbers make sense.
Yeah.
It could be half dozen in one hand and 6 in the other, though.
Yeah.
because now you're firing 3 instead of 2.
They put you in a real bad position, right? Usually it's you leaning around a corner. Right?
Yes.
Most
I
of the time.
tried not to put a reload leaning, because then you got to come back. You got to make sure that the wall or whatever the barriers doesn't make you break the 180.
Right.
You got to be very cognizant of that.
When they came out and said, "Hey, well, you get 15 rounds for the division," right? And I sat there, I'm like, I don't know if that's a good thing, right? So 15 rounds to me would put me in a real bad place every time. But it gives you that option of hose the things down if you wanted to.
Yes.
But they definitely make you throw in a reload in there somewhere.
Yes, I did a little bit of time with the ESP.
Okay.
I tend to like the 10+1
Yeah.
a little bit more. Most of the stages tend to lean more that way.
Because the match director is shooting this.
He's not shooting bug or revolver.
But that would be a lot more, a lot easier, right? But I mean, if you were shooting an SSP, then the stages would definitely be something.
They'd all be 16 rounds.
Oh, I hope so. Trying to figure that out, right? So SSP, 125 power factor, pretty much the standard like ESP and carry optics, right? It's just 15 rounds, right?
Yep.
So you just got to figure out where to do your reload.
That's it.
Is the major thing. So. But we got you shooting a stage, which is stage 3, I think it was.
It's the one where we started seated.
Yeah,
sure.
Stage 3. Yeah. Let's take a look at him shooting stage 3. Well, that was pretty impressive, right?
Thank you. Yeah.
Well, I mean, did you have problems? Do you have issues with a seated start?
Not so much. I just have to make sure I'm not flagging my leg on the way up,
which is a lot of people's issues, right?
Yes.
So they need to sit. So you had 3 targets you had to engage seated, and then you had to get up and get the hell out of there. So,
right. And of course, I chased a 1 on that headshot.
Yeah,
which was nice.
You like doing that?
Yeah. Every once in a while, it surfaces, and
Did you mic it or
no? It was just a 1. So I chased a 1 and made it a 0. Yeah, but I'm guarantee it took more than a second.
Do you recommend chasing doing that?
I don't. It's something you have to work out of yourself,
right?
Because you want it to be perfect before you move on. Sometimes it shouldn't be.
Yeah,
because you're a lot quicker if you just let it lie.
Right. So I did a recent video on that. Instead of just doing we had to do a Mozambique on that one, right? So 2 to the chest, 1 to the head, and so instead of me focusing just on 1 shot, I just threw 2 shot automatically, right?
Right.
So my reload or my makeup shot was just included in my cadence, right?
Right.
So I just did 2, 2, 2, and then 1, and then I just moved on from there.
Probably would have worked out better for me to do just stay on the head and go
backwards.
2. I did.
Yeah, you did 2, 1, 2, 1,
Steal.
and then came back and did another.
I know.
I was like, okay, that's one way of doing it.
It's not the correct one. Of course, that's the one stage I have recorded too, right?
Yes. I wanted to try to get the other things, but that just seems to be the best thing. So you other than riding bikes, you also fish, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you still do you used to race bikes, right? Dirt bikes.
I used to race dirt bikes, for fire police motocross, but we're not doing that anymore.
No.
Not with the injury list I've got working.
Just rough on the body.
It is. It's very rough.
So fire law enforcement, what'd you do in the past?
I was a police officer.
For how long?
19 years.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And you're still healthy.
Yeah. Again, it took a bit. Yeah. The 19 years was because of a severe back injury.
Okay.
that it was just cumulative over the time that I worked.
Law enforcement is really tough on the body, right? So
Yes.
And you managed to stay safe through all that. So well, that's thank God for that, right? So,
Yes.
But how was the career?
Good. Very good. Sad to say, I'm glad it's over in this climate.
Yeah.
For sure.
Right.
I don't envy the guys that are out there right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially like in San Jose, Northern California, and so forth. Right, they're doing laterals all at one time. Right. So now I have a lot of family in San Jose, and they were just saying that things are getting really spicy up there. So,
Yes.
Right. So.
Yep.
But that's really insane. As far as the training is concerned for law enforcement, how much training were they actually doing?
Not much. The city that I worked for probably was higher than average.
Yeah.
But it still is not enough. They're not getting enough training.
So are they? They're not making it mandatory for you, right? But
No.
most of the training that you're doing is on your own time, right?
Yes. If you want to be if you want to do well, you've got to find time to train on your own.
Wow.
There's some agencies that'll qualify once a year.
Wow.
That's scary.
Yeah. But I mean, if they don't qualify, what happens?
Well, in the past, post police officer standards and training,
Right.
they really didn't have any teeth if you didn't qualify or train the required number of hours. Now they've got a little bit more teeth, but they're really not pushing any mandatory training for firearms.
Wow.
It's really department dependent.
So you, and especially if you're doing other things like SWAT or anything like that, right now it's specialty training, right?
Yeah,
that
you
have to get into.
you would obviously get a little bit more training that way.
Yeah.
But then you've got to be on the SWAT team and be prepared to get called out and stuff like that. I was actually on the patrol rifle team with my department.
Okay.
It's not a SWAT position. It's more of they called it a force multiplier for SWAT in case they needed perimeter positions and stuff like that. But
Right.
when I first started that, we were qualifying 4 times a year with the rifle. And then you got a little bit of time with your handgun when you're out there. That's down to, I believe, 1 time a year.
So rifle, you're talking AR type mid-range
Yes.
stuff. Okay, so not long-range stuff.
Correct.
Okay, so you were doing Overwatch. You were just doing.
No, we would qualify out to about 100 yards.
Okay, so you definitely security.
Yes,
Right, okay.
definitely.
Wow. Holy cow. So your handguns, you moved to IDPA, right? How did you use IDPA as a tool?
Well, I never did IDPA while I was working, but it was after I was retired and healthy again.
Yeah.
I just use it to stay sharp and have fun, meet good people out there, like-minded people.
The very first time I saw you shoot, I was sitting there and you can really tell that you trained more than usual.
Thank you.
Your accuracy was, I would have to say, very impressive. To find a better word, but I was very impressed with how you were shooting. You and I actually connected quite quickly, and I think it was because of the way that you were shooting and so forth. And you were really safe, so which is always a plus,
right?
So
as long as the gun stays in my hand,
downrange and stuff like that. So, but that was an awesome time. You have a plaque from Vegas, right?
I do.
Look at this.
So this is it's ESP,
Right.
but so I'm back to SSP now because my wife took this gun away from me. She shoots this one better than I do.
And I saw that.
Yeah. That day I should have just been carrying her water for her.
So what gun was that? That was not the Beretta, was it?
No, it's the SIG P320.
That's right.
It's got a gray guns tungsten infused frame, similar to the X5.
And she started picking up speed, right? And
Yes.
but her accuracy her double taps were like right there.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
With that gun, this is very, very nice. She was worried it was going to be too heavy for her, but as soon as she felt it not move in her hand when she shot, she's like, "Oh, okay."
Heavier is not necessarily bad.
No,
right?
not at all.
It makes it more steady.
Yes.
The plastic guns out there now, which is the Glocks, which you're shooting.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
If you don't have the proper grip on it, that can get away from you pretty
Absolutely.
quickly, right?
Yeah. Some reason the angle, the handle on the Glock just fits me better. Probably because I carried it for almost 20 years.
So it's the you said Gen 3, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it not necessarily has that canted angle forward, right? It's more of like a 1911 angle.
No, Glock has
it's
kept
still
that
forward?
weird angle
Okay.
where if you don't have that gooseneck with the wrist, it's the front sight's just way too high.
Right.
The SIG has a more straight up and down.
Yeah.
And I just can't quite seem to get as comfortable with it because my shots tend to be a little bit high. I'm not getting that front sight down on the SIG.
So you like to go out on the gun?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Hold on to most of the gun as possible, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Tip the
No
smoke.
plastic showing. Yeah.
It's just all hand, right?
Yeah. It's all hand and steel and sparks. Yeah.
So the last match you came out 22nd
Yes.
overall, right? So
Best
that's,
finish so far. At an
fourth in your
IDPA.
division.
Yes.
And there were two masters there and a unregistered one.
Yeah.
which is
He was on our squad. He shot really well.
so yeah, those guys were moving, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you were moving. So fourth, that's pretty good. Fourth, the thing that was impressive to me was you only went 11 down with iron
Yes.
sights. So not I'm considered compared to my 26.
Right.
I got to work on that.
That's one thing I've been working on consistently.
Right.
I've noticed I keep getting lower and lower and lower.
Yeah.
But at some point I'm going to slow down too much.
Right.
And I'm going to have to make that adjustment back to
Right.
a little bit quicker.
So because they gave me for me it's I was coming from Bug, right? So the
Right.
Bug division, which only gave me 6 shots. So 6 shots I had to make them count. Now that I have like a mag of 10, right? Now I have like extra
Yeah.
allowances, right? So I don't know what to do with myself, right? So a lot of that kind of transition into speed, which is not really good for me, but I mean 26 down. I mean that's a killer, right?
Yeah.
So I just got to clean that up.
And it's really odd to look at the score sometimes, and you say you're 26 down, and you're like, man, if I just cut that to 15, that's 11 seconds, and then you look to see where you would have ended up. It starts to really make you think.
Yeah. So when I classified for Bug, I went as fast as I can, and I think I was like a sharpshooter, right? And so the next time I went, I just kept my cadence and just slowed down because I think it was 9 down or 7 down at the time. And so I said, well, I mean, 9 seconds, I can do a lot in 9 seconds,
Yes.
right? So I just slowed it down, and sure enough, I bumped up quite
Nice.
quickly. So,
Very nice.
yeah, I would have to agree with you. Slow it down just a little bit, which would be a lot faster.
Yes.
So trying to achieve that being smooth is the key. I would
Yes.
have to say,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yep.
So, but well, congratulations on that. That really well. I believe stage 3 again, which was the swingers, was your fastest stage. You went 0 down, right? No penalties, 1885. I mean, that's pretty impressive. So, but wow, congratulations on your success.
Thank you.
So, hey, so fishing. So, when's the next time you're going out fishing?
The next time that we have planned that's on the books is going to be a trip to Cedros in July of next year.
And how long is that trip?
We're going to do a 6-day trip.
And that's on a boat.
It
you're
is.
going-
Well, we go, you actually go into San Diego.
Yeah.
The group meets you, brings you over the border into Tijuana. They
Okay.
fly you to Cedros Island.
Okay.
And then you get to stay on the island for those 6 days.
Oh,
Each
okay.
day you go out on a panga with a captain. So you get to sleep in a bed. They feed you 3 meals a day, and you just do a lot of
So
fishing.
you're not roughing it.
No, this
Oh.
is definitely not roughing it like on a boat.
So you just go out there, fish for the day, come back in, repeat, rinse and repeat. Right?
Yep, you get to shower, you get a clean bed to sleep in every night. It's almost like doing a day trip near home and being able to be home by the time it's dark.
What kind of fish are you guys catching?
We are going to hopefully target yellowtail.
Okay.
Apparently, yellowtail bites there year-round.
Because of the warm
It's
waters?
just their spot. Yeah, they
Wow.
just love that
Is
that
awesome.
habitat.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if we limit on those, or if that slows down, I guess there's a huge bass out there as well.
Really?
Yes.
Good eating?
Oh yeah. Yeah, the yellowtail is the best.
So when you guys catch the stuff, do you guys bring it back, or you give it to the resort, or what are you guys doing?
You can bring back 72 pounds.
That's a lot of fish.
Well, it can't all be fish. It's got to be whatever clothes you bring as well. So you want to pack light. Total. Your gear, your clothing, and everything. So if you bring, but you can wash your clothes down there, or they will wash them for you for a couple bucks an article.
Right. You don't. It's warm, right?
It's warm. So maybe one pair of pants, a couple of pair of board shorts, and 3 t-shirts or 3 sun shirts, and you're fine.
And plus your gear.
Your gear. If you bring weights and stuff like that, you can leave the weights there. You can donate them. That way it won't affect your weight coming back.
Right.
But you can do everything, your gear and your fish, 72 pounds. And they've already freezer bagged it and flash froze it for you.
So how much fish do you usually get allowance for?
Usually there's no limit. Because this will be our first time going to Cedros.
Right.
So if you're out on a day boat out of Newport or whatever,
Right.
there's no limit.
Plus your gear, plus the fish. How much fish do you think you usually are capable of bringing back
On a regular day trip?
No, for the whole trip. For
Cedros.
bringing it home.
So if your gear is only 10 or 12 pounds, you've got 60 pounds of fish. It's great.
So you usually just dump all your stuff and leave it there.
Oh yeah, well yeah, that would be the smart thing to do, because
right.
especially if you get fish down there that you can't get up here consistently,
Yeah.
and it's stuff you enjoy and stuff you're going to eat.
Right.
It's a good trade.
That is awesome.
And then if somebody needs gear when they're down there,
Yeah.
they can use what you left.
Oh man. So how's the body holding up through all this mess?
Good. It's I just passed about 13 months, 14 months from a complete knee replacement on the left side.
Yeah. I don't even notice that you actually went through that procedure.
Yeah, I can see it in the videos. I'm still a little bit tentative
hobbling
on the left side.
Right.
Part of it's because I still building trust.
You're right.
And another part is I'm still building the quad back up. I had lost almost the entire quad.
Right.
I was stuck at 14 degrees.
Okay. Right.
So
I remember you telling me.
a long time.
And you were really pushing for the extra angles and so
I
forth.
was, still am. The doc says I can still get it. There's more there.
Right.
But he puts it in when he does it so tight that he doesn't want it to loosen up quickly.
Which is that's
amazing.
not bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you working out still?
Yes.
Constantly. How much working out are you? Actually
Almost 5 days a week before work. I'm usually at the gym by 5 a.m. and then I'm at work by 7:30.
Wow. What type of work are you still doing?
I'm working at a company. We do training videos for police officers.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you're still in the field then?
Yeah, but behind a desk. So it's no one's getting shot at. It's great.
It's
great.
always a good thing, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's awesome.
Where are you going from here with IDPA? You planning on any trips next year or?
Yes, we're gonna do the Western. My wife and I are gonna join you guys for sure up at the Western.
Awesome.
We just got to figure out what days we're gonna shoot, and
Yeah.
we'll get a place to stay up there.
Airbnb again.
Yes.
Make it a craziness,
There we
just
go.
like Vegas, right?
Perfect.
Oh man.
It wasn't too bad.
No, it wasn't. Well, a special shout out to the channel membership. This is your support, busy at work. Please consider being a part of our shooting community, building relationships around safe gun practice and IDPA competition. My name is Paul G, and this is
Daniel Bolt.
Please be safe, and we shall see you on the range.
Like, share, subscribe.